off with expressing the condolences for the University of Virginia, their football program, the people associated with that, and especially the families of those people those men that we lost yesterday. My heartfelt thoughts and prayers go out to them, and it's just a terrible tragedy, and certainly, just it's an awful thing. So, anyway.
Ryan. Yeah, it's obviously a lot of talk after the game and in the last few weeks about finishing strong, and a piece of that would be getting bowl eligible for this team. How important is that specific milestone to reach? And in your mind, what's maybe one or two of the most important things about getting to that point?
Yeah, certainly that's important. It's a big deal, and we do have to finish strong. But we got this one this week, and that's with Bedlam and everything associated with that. That's the focus of playing well enough to win this game, playing to our best to win this game, and that's certainly that comes with it. But the focus is on preparing for Oklahoma State, not for what that could bring, but this game.
From your experience, what is the biggest benefit of getting?
Sure. Yeah. Well, momentum into the off season. When you play well at the end of the year and you win at the end of the year, you carry momentum into your off season program. Carries momentum into recruiting, into the off season program, spring ball, all the things that you want to end anything on a good note and not a negative, not a negative outcome.
And obviously, getting extra practices is part of that.
Sure.
With a defense that's first year, everything like that. How important can that be, especially for those young guys?
Oh, it'd be critical, absolutely, because those reps are like gold for everybody, but especially the young players who, it helps them launch from a different point for the off season, as opposed to launching from here. Those additional reps allows them to launch from here, and that's a critical thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sure.
Freshmen and their penalties on Saturday afterward. And with Grayson and R. Mason, how do you kind of coach them up after this week, especially R. Mason, who made a play there and ended with a little mistake?
Yeah. You certainly you got the teachable moments, especially for the young players, to be able to learn from them and understand that the impact that certainly every play where we are right now, every play, every detail, how it impacts the rest of the game, because after those penalties, and there were certainly a lot of other things that we could have done better, but after those penalties, those drives resulted in scores, and that's a big deal. But at the same time, to learn from it and grow from it, because that's all we can do now after the fact.
James, the term frustration got thrown around a lot after the game in regard to penalties. When you're 10 games in and maybe those same penalties or mistakes you were talking about in weeks 3 and 4 and 5, I guess what does that say where this team is at, or what needs to be?
See, the face mask, that was more of a he took a to start with a bad step, but responded and reacted, and he got caught reaching, which is obviously unacceptable. At the same time, we haven't had a lot of face mask penalties this season, so. What does it say about what?
Well, I was speaking more on the whole, not those two penalties in particular, but at this point, I think you guys lead the Big 12 and Big 12 penalty yardage.
Yeah.
Games in, those mistakes keep cropping up, whatever specifically they are.
Right. Just something we got to get fixed and get corrected. And again, going back to understanding the ramifications of what those things lead to. When you don't have much margin for error, those things lead to on and on and on, bad things happening that obviously affect the outcomes of the games. But that's something we got to clean up. Sure, and we coach that and discuss it every week. That's not something that all of a sudden now we're going to talk about just because we've been coaching that all year, and we all got to do a better job.
James.
A lot of times when like the last drive when you can't get off the field, you just when a guy makes a play or a playmaker steps up. Have you been disappointed you haven't had more guys just make a play and become playmakers out there?
you know, yeah, we're disappointed, but to say that we're disappointed with one person or whatever, no, we're disappointed where we are, and you know, certainly having opportunities to do that. In the same time, you know, maybe it's a better call somewhere along the line. So it's not, but all of us collectively to do better, and that's where we are, and we're going to keep working to get it fixed.
Ask about OSU. They're a different team with Spencer, obviously. Yes. So, what's your thoughts on what they're doing, especially with him?
He's a really, really dynamic football player, and I think we figured it up yesterday. Going back to his high school days, he's had 90-something career starts as either a high school quarterback or a college quarterback, and that's a lot of snaps when you're starting 90-something ball games. So that's a lot of snaps. He puts pressure on the defense with his mobility, creates explosive plays, and he leads the Big 12 in total offense, I think. And so he's a guy that, you know he's back, he's ready to roll, and it's a great challenge and a great opportunity for us. So, but we have a lot of respect for him and how he operates, and certainly adds an element, not just the element of his athleticism, but the element of his experience and his decision making.
Ted talked to Sean White after a game, and he said how it took him a while to snap back into it after Justin Broyles got hurt. How big of a blow, emotional moment was that for the guys, and how did Robert Spears-Jennings fare?
Well, you know, we were a little short anyway because Key Lawrence didn't play either. So then, you know, Justin had started, and obviously he's played a lot of football, and we have a lot of confidence in Justin from his leadership, communication, all the things that he brings. But, you know, that's the unfortunate part of football. So then Robert went in there and did a nice job, and then we ended up moving Billy over to free safety and Trey at strong, and Billy hadn't taken a rep all week at free because, you know, we had the other, so that part of it. But and I thought Billy did a nice job as well.
Ted, I was going to ask you just a little bit more about Spencer. You talked after the game on Saturday about some of the issues defending Garrett Green on the ground, his mobility. What struggles or what challenges are there with defending Spencer specifically with his mobility, and what can you guys do to improve in that area?
Well, I think that, you know, if you look at like mobile quarterbacks across the board, when teams spread you out and create space with formations, all right, they also create scramble lanes, running lanes. And what we have to do is we have to do a really good job, excuse me, of closing off those scramble lanes with our rush, whether it's a 3-man rush. Obviously, there's another lane or a 4-man rush. So I mean, you know, whatever you do, but to have a rush plan in place to be able to limit his area of operation and keep him in the pocket. And that's like happened, like, you know, that's since mobile quarterbacks started being mobile quarterbacks when the spread offense was invented. You know, part of the things that, you know, and if you look at the impact it had in the NFL, right? It had the same level of impact as far as the NFL, as far as guys, all those guys that make $30 or $40 million. Those owners don't want those quarterbacks running with the ball much, taking those shots either. You know, so.
Go to Mason Young, Trey Morrison, Justin Harrington getting that game. Just how did you feel about the way that they performed in that, given the situation?
I thought that Trey played solid. You know, he made a couple nice plays. He made a nice play on the deep ball, and he also had a couple big tackles for us. So he did some good things, and you know, a guy that, you know, was on his last year. You know, so the clock's ticking for all of us, but I thought he did a nice job.
With how much Spencer Sanders has been in and out of the lineup, how much do you guys have to digest and worry about not just one, but the two other quarterbacks that Oklahoma State's kind of thrown out there over the last month?
Well, they've been productive as well. You know, it's certainly but based on, you know, how we're preparing for Sanders, and we're preparing for all of them, you know, and like, you know, how the different things they do, and they tweak their offense to suit the skill set of all the quarterbacks. So, you know, that's something we've got to prepare for all three of them.
How difficult is that to kind of divvy out the limited time you've got during the week to all three of those guys?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but at the same time, it's a necessity, and it's something we've got to do. Yeah.
Stay over there, Justin.
Okay, sticking with the secondary, Woody forced that fumble against West Virginia, had the interception against Iowa State a few weeks ago. You mentioned the injuries there. Just how beneficial has it been to have a guy with experience who's been able to step up and stay on the field?
Well, anytime you have a guy that's played a lot of ball, you lean on those guys, especially when we're going through injuries at other positions, So, but yeah, Woody does that every day in practice, and so it's no surprise he plays well on game day.
Back left, John.
Ted, a little bit of an uncomfortable topic because nobody likes to lose games, but signing day's coming up, so I wanted to ask, does having a tough season, does losing games create opportunities as a recruiter for you to touch base with the guys that are coming in next year after that, and say, hey, you can get in here, you can do this kind of thing?
It's not ideal. No, it's certainly not how we would like to draw it up, but at the same time, there's opportunities that come with that, and the guys that we're recruiting, we're excited about the future with them, and they see the opportunity, and so we're looking forward to getting them in the boat and moving on.
Did you ever get clarification on what TD wants to do in the future?
Yeah.
Is he going to play?
No.
Okay, he's done.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, right side, second row, Ross.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, some of those young players on this year's roster, like Robert Spears, Jennings, some of them were speaking out Saturday after the game, just saying, stay with us, we're going to turn this around. How do you kind of balance with those young players, them kind of getting on the field and making big plays, but still not getting the results they want in the end with the loss? Like, where's the morale level at with some of those young players that are, getting on the field and making plays, but still coming away with losses?
That's a good question. But our guys' level of commitment, level of belief has not wavered. And that says a lot about who we have in our locker room and the belief that they have in Coach Venables and his staff. So certainly we all wish the results would have been better, but at this point, moving forward, it's about focusing to improve so we can make those results better. And that's where our guys are focused. And I love the attitude. I love our locker room, and I haven't seen any of that.
Have you seen any of the freshmen kind of step up into some of those leadership roles and kind of building block for the future going forward with this season?
Yeah, there's been some guys that have done it, mostly with freshmen because it's a freshman. Sometimes your voice isn't like you don't have that voice with the upperclassmen, the guys that have been here a long time. But certainly have seen that, and proud of those guys. And again, excited about the future, but excited about this week and this opportunity for our football team this week. Yeah, that's a good question, though.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.